Hi everyone, welcome back to another video for Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. So today's video, I just want to do a quick video just showing you some of the gear that SEGA have given out recently that should hopefully help new players to get towards the more current endgame of NGS, and also might help out some people who are there already. So typically SEGA do this every so often where they'll give out some free weapons and armor for limited time campaigns, and often those weapons are really not worth using. Quite often they are significantly worse than the currently obtainable weapons that you can get in other ways. But this is the first time where I feel that the freebie gear is actually relatively decent. So the gear itself, the way that you get it is if you go into your tasks and quest menu, and go to tasks and go to limited time tasks, there'll be these ones here where it says get 11-star weapon, and then there's level up for each class. The force one isn't on here because I've already done it on this character. So you can see, for example, for this first one, it says Hunter level up, and it says reach Hunter level 65 for main class. And for doing that, it rewards you with an Epith Irini sword plus 90, an Epith Irini wire plus 90, and an Epith Irini spear plus 90. Again, if we go to Ranger, you can get the rifle and the launcher. Fighter will give you the daggers, the double saber, and the knuckles. Tector, for example, will give you the wand and the talus. You can see what I mean. You'll get the gear that's relevant to that class. So the more classes you have level 65, the more you'll unlock of these. If it doesn't unlock for you, it's probably because you need to actually switch to the class. So just go to the class counter, switch your main class to, for example, Bouncer, and as soon as you switch to Bouncer, it should unlock this limited time quest, and it'll give you the gear that you need. There is also another one on here that isn't shown, which is for getting some 10-star armours as well. That will unlock, I believe, when you get to level 65 as well. So this gear, let's have a look at it. So on this character, who is Force, I had not played her for months prior to this update. I've been waiting for the Force revamp because I wasn't really happy with where Force was. And I'd said that I wasn't going to play this character until Force got revamped. So Force has now had its revamped, which I'm pleased to report seems to be really, really good. Again, there are other videos on that if you want to look up how those changes have affected Force, but from what I've tested so far, it seems to be a pretty big buff. And you can see here I've got one of the Epith Irini weapons. I do have the Talus as well, but I don't tend to use Talus a great deal, to be honest. So this is as the weapons come. So as soon as you get them from completing that limited time task, this is how you'll get them. So they are 11-star weapons with 1151 attack. They come with a level 6 potential, level 5 fixed attack. They're already grinded to 90, so you don't need to grind them. And they come with 7 affixes. Now, the 7 affixes, 3 of them are EX affixes, so much like items like the Eridim series and so on, and the Exelios. This is another series that can use EX affixes. And this is the affixes you get when you get the weapon, so I've done nothing to this. So as standard, it comes with EX Light Attack Protect H, EX Endure Pain PP Boost H, EX Tech Arts PP Suppress H, so actually 3 EXs. And then your other affixes, you have Grand Gladiator Soul LC, Lux Halfinail LC, Blangigus Mast LC, and Grand Dreadkeeper 2 LC. Now these LC affixes, some of these are quite new. So SEGA have added LC versions of some of the updated affixes. So you probably remember a while back we got LC versions of affixes like Halfinail and Gladiator. As the game progressed, we then got the option to upgrade Halfinail to Lux Halfinail. Well, now we're getting LC versions of those, and I believe if these capsules don't drop in Lucille, then the items to make them do. I can't remember if you can actually get the upgraded ones in Lucille or not, but Lucille is definitely worth running again because of that. So if we look at what the actual gear looks like, you can see here we've got it here, and you can see it gives us 33.1% potency. And this should be the same for every single weapon because all the weapons seem to have the same affixes. The only thing I'm not sure on is if the EXs are any different. The EX abilities may differ slightly, but as far as I'm aware, they're all the same. If we then go into here, you can see that overall the weapon gives us 190 HP and 17 PP, which is insane. The potential for it is Stalwart Unit level 6, which gives us 39% potency. It also gives us offensive PP recovery plus 15%. It gives us natural PP recovery speed plus 15%, and also gives us 10% damage resistance as well. which is, you know, pretty nice overall. The damage resistance, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal unless you're doing something like rank 2 Solus or rank 2 of any of the other bosses. Or maybe if you're running around Nameless City with 20,000 points, but overall, these other abilities are quite nice. You know, the offensive PP recovery is pretty decent, and 39% potency is nothing to scoff at either. Obviously, we have Fixed Attack 5, which gives us another 9% potency as well. So it is a very, very solid weapon. Now, is this going to compare to something like a Tri Selio? If you've got a Tri Selio weapon that is well built with a fixer, and you've got good affixes on it, you know, so for example, you've got things like Gigas Mast LC, Gladiasaur LC, oh sorry, Grand Gladiasaur LC, Lux Halfinale. Particularly if you have the affixes of the non-LC version. So if you've got things like Lux Halfinale, Grand Dreadkeeper 2, Grand Gladiasaur, Grand Gigas Mast, the non-LC versions, obviously your Tri Selio is going to outperform this. With the same affixes as this, I don't think there'll be too much of a difference. The potential on the Tri Selio might be more useful overall, because it is really nice having the ability to do the buffs from getting these sidestep counters. But overall, I think this is a really solid weapon set for the beginner players, because you only need to get to level 65 to equip it, which doesn't take long to do at all. And even for people who are towards the end of the game, honestly, I feel like these are totally usable. Now, yes, you're probably still going to want to work towards your Tri Selio, you know, for kitting one of those out, or maybe one of the 12 weapons when they get released. But for a freebie bit of gear, I think this is probably one of the first examples where we have a really decent bit of free gear. If we then move on to the armours. So the armours, these are the Decem armours, and these are all the freebies as well, and you do get 3 of them. So these again come up plus 90 grind, they come with 137 defense, 1% damage resistance. Again, they only need level 65 to equip, which isn't too bad. Now there's no fixes on these, unfortunately, but we do have 7 affixes still. Now obviously, because it's an armour, we don't have any EX affixes, but we do have 7 fairly solid affixes anyway. So we have Grand Gladiasaur LC, Grand Gigas Mast LC, Grand Dreadkeeper 2 LC, Triple Bull 2, Lux Halfinale LC, Hysteria Dominant LC, and Giga Trial LC. So again, it's the LC versions of a lot of the upgraded affixes. Now what this does to your stats, each of these armours actually gives you 135 HP, 22 PP, 36.1% potency to all types, and 5% ailment resist. Now ailments, you know, are honestly a bit of a meme in NGS. I can't really think of any ailments that really do much. The only one that's even remotely annoying I find is Confuse, or Panic, whatever you want to call it, because it seems to last quite a while. But things like Burn, Freeze, Shock really don't do a whole lot in NGS, so that's just a little bonus really. But honestly, again, for free gear, you know, this is really solid. Now, the actual armor itself probably gives you about 20 HP or so. A lot of this HP does come from the affixes. But, you know, for an armor to give you 135 health, 22 PP, and 36% potency is really solid. So you can see here that I'm using 3 of these armors and the freebie rod as well. If I equip that at level 95 gives me 4,300 battle power, which I believe is enough to do pretty much anything in the game. If we then look at my actual stats, you can see that just with this freebie gear, I have 236.1% potency, which is kind of insane for free gear. We also have 14.3% resistance to all the ailments. Honestly, I feel like these are really, really solid bits of gear for anyone, honestly. I do feel like if you're chasing numbers, you are still going to want to go for a Tri Selio with Tristasis armors with really high end affixes. That's obviously going to cost you a lot of time and money to do. So for a freebie bit of gear, I think these are fantastic. So I do feel that if you've been away from NGS for a while and come back to it can be quite daunting, because the rate that the weapons and armors move on is quite fast, and it can be quite confusing sometimes to figure out what the current ideal gear is. I think this gives you a really solid base to come back to. So you can come back to the game, use this gear, and then you can use this while you're hunting for the materials to make the Tri Selios and the Tristasis armors. So honestly, hats off to SEGA for doing this. I think it's a fantastic way of keeping people in pretty good equipment. It also means that there is now absolutely no excuse for using terrible equipment in quests, in co-op quests. Because even using this, you know, you still bring in 236% potency to the party, so even though it could be better, I think it's totally fine. So another thing they've done is the most recent limited time quest. That is a really, really decent source of getting things like Evola Vaults, Extravants, and Progress Grinders. It's quite a quick quest and it's very, very easy. So that's quite good for farming up some of those materials that you need for the Trace Assist and Tri Selio weapons and armors. So you could always use this gear while you're farming that. These also may make a good base for dual gear as well. So obviously you could swap out a couple of those affixes for some of the dual centric affixes, and this would make potentially a pretty decent dual set to use that again would be totally free to get. Just to stress again, there is one of these tasks for each individual class, so it doesn't matter which class you're playing, you can get them. It also does seem like it's per character as well. It does actually say re-accept one time per character. So if you've got 5 characters, you could get 5 sets of weapons, 5 sets of armor for every single character. So you can essentially kit out your entire account from this. So make sure that you log in and claim those while it's active. Those limited time orders run until, it's actually until I think June next year. So you have plenty of time to do it. Now obviously by the time June rolls around, I'd imagine these will be very, very outdated, but particularly if you're just starting to play now in December, then definitely worth picking up. So yeah, that's probably going to do it for today. I know it's only a short video, but I just wanted to highlight this because I think a lot of people may have skipped over actually how decent these bits of free gear are. I would still encourage people to farm towards the Tristasis and Tri Selio gear, but honestly, I feel like these are totally usable and means that you don't necessarily need to upgrade if you don't want to. If you just want to log on, fight some stuff, then you can just use this gear and you'll be fine. But then for those who want to chase the highest numbers and have the best gear they can, you've still got that option to move on to the Tri Selio and Tristasis gear with good affixes. Yeah, well, we'll leave that on there for today. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, just consider please leaving a like or a subscribe. I also stream on Twitch usually twice a week as well. We stream Phantasy Star and non-Phantasy Star stuff, so feel free to drop by there. You can also follow me on Twitter at SectionSkylie, and there's a Discord you can join as well, which I'll leave a link to in the description. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video, and there should be more videos coming along very soon. See you guys.